Richard Lawson has been quiet for years, but not anymore. The thing that was so striking was that your beauty continued to be enhanced by your incredible heart, compassion, empathy, generosity, and philanthropy. You were pregnant with Beyonce at the time, and married. Wait, he just admitted it. He was attracted to a woman while she was married, while she was carrying Beyonce. The internet is connecting dots that the Knowles family desperately wants buried.
She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. You had Usher, he was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old, living in Atlanta.
No, that's not right. Usher and Pink aren't the same age as Beyonce at all. Someone is lying. And now that Tina has dumped Richard, he's no longer keeping the family secrets.
Beyonce was 3. I took her to the Triumph tour with Michael Jackson and his brothers.
Wow.
And my friend said, well, if you go to this certain area at the Astrodome, he's gonna come out that way. So I had her out there. It was a group of about 20 people. He walks over, tries to grab her. And she loved him so much, she was just overwhelmed as kids do, and she just started crying, and she wouldn't go to him.
Yeah.
But what are the odds of that?
Wow.
And she said then, I'm gonna be like Michael Jackson.
But wait, that tour was in 1981, the same year Beyonce was supposedly born. The math doesn't add up. And Bianca Lawson, she's picked a side, and it's not Beyonce's. Here's what nobody is connecting. Let's rewind to the 1980s in Atlanta. The music industry was a war zone of ambition, ego, and ruthless competition. Matthew Knowles was building an empire. Tina was his wife. And somewhere in this carefully constructed narrative, Richard Lawson entered the picture. Not as a friend, not as a distant acquaintance, but as someone who would become deeply entangled in the family's most closely guarded secrets. For decades, the official story was simple. Tina and Matthew divorced. Tina met Richard. They fell in love. They built a life together, clean, neat, believable. Except it wasn't. I soon discovered that although unhappily married, Celestine was not suffering all by herself. Going over to the main house to retrieve my keyboard one afternoon, I happened upon Celestine kissing a man. I recognized him immediately. Richard Lawson, a famous actor. This is from Beyonce's own former vocal coach's memoir. He caught Tina and Richard kissing in the house while she was still married to Matthew, while Beyonce was still a child in that household. And what did Tina do when caught? She lied. She told the vocal coach that Richard was her cousin. A bold-faced lie designed to minimize what was happening right in front of her daughter's tutor. But here's where it gets darker. Richard is my cousin, she said. He's on that stuff. She didn't just deny the affair, she demonized Richard. She painted him as a drug addict, a bad influence, something to be hidden, not celebrated. This wasn't just infidelity. This was a calculated narrative shift designed to bury the truth and protect the image of the Knowles family empire. Richard, the man she would later marry, was being actively slandered while she was cheating with him. And then, just like that, Matthew was gone. The divorce happened. Richard moved in, and the new story began. The perfect blended family, the successful marriage, the fairy tale, but not everyone was buying it. Bianca Lawson grew up watching this unfold. She was Richard's daughter from his previous marriage, a marriage that had crumbled under mysterious circumstances, a marriage to Denise Gordy, a marriage that coincidentally fell apart around the same time Tina and Richard's connection was deepening in the shadows. For years, Bianca did what many children of complicated family situations do. She adapted. She smiled at family events. She attended her father's wedding to Tina in 2015. She played the role of grateful stepdaughter. She even spoke positively about her parents' relationship.
She and my dad get up at 5:45 every morning and do a dance workout at 7, like clockwork, every morning.
This was 2015 or so. Bianca was showing the world that her father's marriage was solid, healthy, normal, but as an actress, she knew how to perform. And the question fans have been asking is simple. Was she telling the truth or was she acting? The answer, it seems, is becoming clearer now that the marriage is over. Because while Bianca was publicly supportive, something else was happening behind closed doors. The longer she watched her father's marriage to Tina unfold, the more she began to see the pattern, the disrespect, the power imbalance, the way Tina spoke about Richard in public, diminishing him, correcting him, treating him like he was less than.
I envisioned the type of man I wanted. I prayed for the type of man I wanted, and I got pretty much that. Is he perfect? Absolutely not.
Listen to those words. Not he's amazing, not he's wonderful. She went on national television and said her husband wasn't even close to what she wanted. She got pretty much what she prayed for, like he was a compromise, a placeholder. And when the internet dragged her for those words, her response was even colder. She doubled down. She went to Instagram and basically said, yeah, he's not perfect, and I don't care what you think about that. She was public publicly, deliberately humiliating him. Not in a joking way, not in a loving way, in a way that sent a clear message. I tolerate this man, but I don't respect him. Bianca watched this happen. She watched her father endure years of public disrespect from his wife, and slowly, imperceptibly, her allegiance shifted. When the divorce happened, it wasn't a shock to those paying attention. It was almost inevitable, but what came after was more significant. Here's what the internet is piecing together. Bianca Lawson is now reportedly siding with her father. Not subtly, not quietly, but in a way that's become increasingly obvious to anyone who's been paying attention to her social media, her interviews, and her public positioning. The streets have been saying for a while that Bianca doesn't care much for Tina or Beyonce. Fans have noted the stark absence of interaction between Bianca and her stepsisters, Beyonce and Solange, on social media and at public events. They go to the same awards shows, they exist in the same celebrity circles, yet they rarely, if ever, publicly acknowledge each other.
And Solange, they're your stepsisters?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I have to ask you, if you are trapped on a desert island, what album are you taking, Lemonade or Seat at the Table?
She shut that question down immediately. They're both amazing. I love them both. It's exactly what you'd expect a stepdaughter to say. Polished, professional, diplomatic, but it's also rehearsed. It's also acting. And we know Bianca is an incredible actress, because here's what's interesting. If Bianca truly felt that connection to Beyonce and Solange, why is the conversation so defensive? Why does she need to interrupt the interviewer and insist on taking both albums? Why not just name one and gush about it? The answer is that there's no genuine connection to gush about. And that's where the real tea starts to brew. Fans have speculated about a supposed beef between Bianca and Beyonce. There were even rumors about a physical altercation, specifically allegations that Bianca was involved in a biting incident with Beyonce. Now, the incident was alleged to have happened at a party where an unnamed actress got too close to Jay-Z. Tiffany Haddish recounted the whole thing, how Beyonce was furious, how they went to the back, and how the woman apparently bit Beyonce in retaliation or during a scuffle. The rumor mill immediately started churning. Was it Zoe Saldana? Sarah Foster denied it. Then whispers started, was it Bianca? And here's what's suspicious. Richard Lawson stepped in and asked people to stop speculating. He wanted the situation to go away. Why would a stepfather insert himself into gossip about Beyonce unless he was protecting someone close to him? The only person that made sense was Bianca. Now there's no concrete proof that Bianca was the woman in question, but the timing, the family dynamics, and Richard's protective response all point to a family in serious fracture. And that fracture is directly tied to what Richard knows about the Knowles family's deepest secrets. Let's connect the dots that the family doesn't want connected. Richard Lawson has been silent for years, but he's been aware. He's been inside the Knowles inner circle. He's watched Matthew build an empire. He's been present for decades of decision-making, strategy, and image management. He knows where the bodies are buried, literally and figuratively. And the biggest secret of all, Beyonce's age. When the Texas Department of Health released documents in 2024 claiming that Beyonce was born in 1974, not 1981, the internet exploded. A 7-year difference. Not a rounding error, not a typo. 7 years. What does a 7-year age difference mean? It means everything the public knows about Beyonce's career timeline is a lie. It means she wasn't 14 or 15 when Destiny's Child broke through. She was 21 or 22. It means she wasn't a teen prodigy. She was an adult who looked young and was marketed as younger. It means the entire narrative of her youth, her competition with Pink and Usher, her rise through the ranks, all of it was manufactured fiction.
She's the exact same age as Beyonce, and there used to be this battle which group was better. You had Usher, he was the same age. They were all 14 and 15 years old living in Atlanta.
But Usher and Pink aren't the same age as Beyonce. Usher was born in 1978. Pink was born in 1979. If Beyonce was truly born in 1981, then yes, they'd all be relatively close. But if Beyonce was actually born in 1974, then Matthew Knowles' entire narrative about his daughter's rise collapses. He was positioning Beyonce as a peer to younger artists to make her seem more like a prodigy, to make the accomplishment seem more impossible, more miraculous. A girl competing and winning against peers her own age. It's the perfect underdog story. Except she wasn't an underdog. She was older. She had a developmental advantage. She was a young woman pretending to be a young girl. And who knew this? Richard knew. He was there. He was embedded in the family. He watched Matthew orchestrate this lie year after year after year. Richard was once family. Now he's not. He's the ex-stepdad, the outsider, the loose thread, and loose threads unravel. Because here's the thing about silencing someone through marriage. The moment that marriage ends, you lose leverage. Richard was kept inside the family power structure, As long as he was married to Tina, Tina had authority over him. Tina had leverage. If he talked, she could destroy him legally, financially, and socially. A bitter ex-wife has weapons. But a divorced man who's being publicly disrespected? A divorced man who watched his wife build a $1 billion empire while treating him like he was pretty much what she prayed for? He has nothing left to lose. He has everything to gain by finally telling the truth. And Bianca sees this. She understands that her father was trapped in a marriage designed to keep him quiet. A marriage to a woman who controlled narrative, controlled money, controlled access to celebrity and power. A marriage where he was essentially a hostage. Tina has a narrative gift. She's a master storyteller. She can reframe anything. She can make herself the victim. She can make her husband the villain. She can make Beyonce's age lie sound like a simple mistake or a cultural artifact of the time. But multiple people have slipped up and revealed the same inconsistencies. Beyonce and I have been friends since we were teenagers. We go to the same hairstylist now. You know how those bonds are. Gabrielle Union said this. She's 9 years older than Beyonce, according to the official birth year. She's only 2 years older. If Beyonce was actually born in 1974, the gap between 9 years and 2 years is the difference between a teenager and an adult friendship versus a peer friendship.
I remember her, just small school, I remember her passing through the hallways, and she was stunning. She was just a stunning woman. But she would sing, I think, during the hallways and walking by, and I just remember, and I'm not just saying this, but I remember saying, wow, that girl is something.
Bianca Goldillo went to high school with Beyonce. Bianca was born in 1979. Beyonce was supposedly born in 1981, making them 2 years apart. But Bianca also said she didn't realize Beyonce went to her school until years later, even though Bills, Bills, Bills was already a huge hit. If they were only 2 years apart in age and went to the same high school at the same time, how would Bianca not remember her? But if Beyonce was actually born in 1974, she would have been years ahead of Bianca in school. They wouldn't have overlapped. Bianca would have definitely not gone to school with her, unless Bianca is lying too, unless she's protecting the narrative, unless she was told a story and told to stick to it.
When Beyonce was 3, I took her to the Triumph tour with Michael Jackson and his brothers.
Tina says she took Beyonce to the Triumph tour when she was 3. The Triumph tour was in 1981. If Beyonce was born in 1981, she would have been newborn, not 3. Tina would have been taking a newborn infant to a massive concert tour, unlikely. But if Beyonce was born in 1974, she'd have been 6 or 7, not 3. So Tina's memory is fuzzy on purpose. Or she's covering. Either way, the narrative is fractured. And Richard, sitting in that marriage for years, would have known this. He would have seen the inconsistencies multiply. He would have watched Matthew and Tina coordinate their stories. He would have understood that the entire empire was built on a foundational lie. The divorce between Tina and Richard isn't just the end of a marriage, it's the release of a pressure valve. It's the moment when silence becomes impossible because the incentive to stay quiet has vanished. Bianca's reported alignment with her father isn't random, it's strategic, it's generational. Bianca has watched her father sacrifice his reputation, his autonomy, and his dignity for decades to stay married to a woman who didn't respect him publicly. She watched him become a non-entity in his own marriage, referenced only as not perfect and not what I prayed for. She watched him stay silent about what he knew. And now that the marriage is over, she's making a choice. She's standing with Richard. She's signaling to the world that there was always another side to this story. A side that Tina wanted buried. The biting incident rumors, the reported beef with Beyonce, the public distance between Bianca and her stepfamily, these aren't random occurrences. They're symptoms of a family fractured by lies and cover-ups. The age lie is the thread. Pull it and everything else unravels. Beyonce's entire image, her mythology, her claim to being a once-in-a-generation prodigy, it all depends on the age lie holding. Because if she was older, she wasn't exceptional. She was just a girl with resources, training, and access, like thousands of others. But if she was actually 7 years older than she claims, then she had a massive developmental and physical advantage that was deliberately hidden. That's not inspiration, that's deception. And Richard knows, he's always known. And now, with nothing to lose and everything to expose, the question isn't whether he'll talk, it's when. So here's what we're left with: an ex-stepfather who knows too much, sitting outside the family power structure for the first time in decades, a stepdaughter choosing his side, a family narrative that's fracturing at the seams. The documents were released. They were called fake. They were retracted. But why would a state health department issue a fake document in the first place? Why would they suddenly reverse course? The answer is leverage, pressure, the machinery of a powerful empire kicking into overdrive to protect its foundational lie. And now that Richard is free from the marriage, he's a threat they can no longer control. The question the internet wants answered is simple. What happens when a man with nothing left to lose decides to finally tell the truth about the family he's been bound to silence for decades? Because if the age lie is true, it's just the beginning. It means everything the Knowles Knowles family constructed was built on deception. It means the empire has cracks that go deeper than anyone outside the family has ever realized. And it means Bianca Lawson just picked the side of the only person who can finally expose it. The real scandal isn't whether Beyonce is older than she says. The scandal is everything that lie was protecting, everything that silence kept hidden. And that story is just starting tea.